This is your definitive guide to the Novato real estate market in 2026. So if you're waiting for prices to drop in the coming year, you're fighting the wrong battle. In 2025, as we close the books on the year, we see that the old rules have changed, and there's now a new reality focused on not just location and condition, but also insurability. I'm Kyle Frazier with Marin, brokered by Compass. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened in Novato in 2025. I'll also provide my official 2026 Novato predictions. I'll call out a few neighborhoods throughout Novato that merit special attention and also some hidden truths and trade-offs that most buyers and sellers miss. So let's get started. First, let's talk numbers. If you read the national headlines last year, you probably expected a crash, but that didn't happen here. In Novato, we had extremely low volume because sellers with 3% interest rates refused to sell. And despite the facts that rates, for the most part, hovered around 6.5% throughout the year, because of the low inventory, prices remained flat or even went up in certain locations. But looking at average prices, that hides the real story. Turnkey homes in Pointe Marin and other neighborhoods in Novato sold on average in 12 days. Meanwhile, homes across town or in the hills languished for 90 days and suffered price reductions. What's the cause of this? Well, it's the hidden deal killer that arose with a vengeance in 2025. In 2025, fire risk maps mattered more than any other map in real estate. These fire risk designations impact whether or not you're going to be able to get conventional homeowners insurance or whether or not you're going to have to dive into the California Fair Plan and the associated DIC policies that go along with it, which can triple, even quadruple the cost of insurance. This was the biggest surprise for buyers this year, not interest rates. While not all homes are in high fire danger zones, we did see certain deals fall apart this year because of insurance. When people go into underwriting to get their mortgage loan and they assume they're going to be paying $1,500 a year for insurance, and then it turns out they're going to be paying $9,000 for a fair plan policy and the associated DIC policy, well, that destroys their debt to income ratio and kills the loan. So in 2026, if you're thinking of buying a house, you're not only shopping for a home, you're shopping for insurability, and that can impact pricing. Hot tip for sellers: when you go to sell your house, your current insurer may not be writing new policies in California anymore. You're well advised to seek out an insurer that is capable and willing to cover your house, and you can include that information in your disclosures. This brings me to the most important lesson learned in 2025, and that is Novato is no longer one market. It is a collection of micro markets, each one behaving differently. I'm going to go through a few of the neighborhoods to give you an example of how different micro markets, different neighborhoods in Novato behave differently in the marketplace. First up, let's talk about Hamilton Field. I'm calling this the efficiency marketplace. Buyers here, due to the back to work mandates, have decided that they will bid prices up for the convenience associated with Smart Train on site and the very good Highway 101 access. The trade-off at Hamilton Field is that with this increased efficiency and excellent commute time comes smaller lots and a little less privacy. Next up, let's talk about Pointe Marin. Now, I had mentioned earlier about how average prices are often telling a misleading story, and Pointe Marin is an example of that. The reason for it is that there are two distinct sub-neighborhoods within Pointe Marin, specifically Breakers, which are the bigger homes on bigger lots, and Hideaway, which has a smaller homes, smaller lots. We have found this year that the buyers who are focused on breakers were definitely willing to pay up to very high premiums, while in Hideaway, which is a little more affordable, buyers were really focused on finishes. And of course, the lots in Hideaway that had a little more privacy sold a little bit faster. Speaking of micro markets, Bel Marin Keys squarely falls into this category. The divergence between the lower priced and the upper priced tier is significant. And again, averages hide the real truth. In this case, homes that are on Novato Creek, some of the older inventory that has sloping issues due to settling, and also some of the homes with smaller square footage or unorthodox floor plans, they set the floor in pricing at around 1.4 million. Meanwhile, homes located on both the North and South Lagoon, depending on where they are and their orientation towards Mount Tam, what they're looking at on the lagoon, and how the prevailing winds impact lifestyle in the backyard, all has a major impact on pricing. In fact, I would say Bel Marin Keys, in terms of micro markets, is one of the most complicated in Novato. Another neighborhood that is proving the 2025 lesson of the year in Novato real estate, that being average prices hide the true story, is Marin Country Club Estates. Marin Country Club Estates probably was the largest benefactor in terms of Novato neighborhoods from the flight from San Francisco during COVID and the premiums which buyers are willing to pay to live there. Marin Country Club Estates is one of Novato's A-plus neighborhoods. And if you have a turnkey home that's located on the golf course and has a pool, well, you just hit the jackpot because your pricing is way up. And homes that are in the hills or maybe don't have great orientation to the sun, well, those are going to sell for less and have longer days on market. Now let's compare Loma Verde to San Marin. Both of these neighborhoods in Novato are at the lower price end, um, with prices starting at about 1.2 million up to about 1.5 million. Exceptions on either side can be made, but that's the basic price point. What I've seen trending in Novato over the past year is that as people are required to go back to work in San Francisco, buyers are preferring Loma Verde because it has about a 15-minute shorter commute. And finally, let's not forget the Atherton corridor. Homes at Rush Creek were built in around the year 2000. These are homes on half-acre to 1-acre lots. The homes are beautiful, they back up to open space, and have great freeway access to Highway 101. To the west of that is Greenpoint. Many of these are characterized by hilltop estates with stunning views of Mount Tam, and stretching all the way further west to StoneTree, which was a development built in about 2005. These also are very nice luxury homes, many of which have views of Mount Tam, the bay, or golf courses. I anticipate the Atherton corridor will do very well this year as the estate dream is alive and well in Marin, and many people are priced out of Southern Marin and even San Rafael estates. And indeed, you can buy a very nice luxury home with excellent privacy in the Atherton corridor for about the same price as a luxury Mill Valley or Tiburon condominium. So, what does all this mean for 2026? Here's some seller advice. The turnkey premium is real. Buyers, even if they have the money, don't want to engage in lengthy renovations. They don't have the patience and they don't have the desire. They will, however, pay a premium if the house is turnkey. So the benefits to you, sellers, if you do the work in advance, is A, you're going to get the sale, and B, you're going to get the premium price that you want. So in 2026, do the work first. And my advice to buyers in 2026, if you have the capital and you're willing to pay the premium to effectuate lifestyle change that you might have been wanting to do for years now, well, guess what? You only live once. Time is the last luxury. Go ahead and make it happen. Well, in all likelihood, you're going to be selling a house that is worth significantly more than you think. And if you're more value oriented, well, I think it's going to be another year of low inventory, and buyers are going to need to apply the good enough rule. And by that, I mean, if a house has good bones and is in a acceptable insurance location, go ahead and go for it. That kitchen or those bathrooms that you might want to renovate, that's an opportunity for you to grab future equity. But if you want to start gaining equity in 2026, good enough rule might have to apply. In addition, I would say to the extent there are any homes that languish on the market more than 45 days, target those. I'll bet you those sellers, they're getting nervous and they might be ready to strike a deal. Novato in 2026 is going to be a market of specifics, not averages. So whether you're looking for the efficiency of Hamilton Field or the golf lifestyle offered by Marin Country Club estates, or the privacy of an Atherton corridor home in Rush Creek, Greenpoint, or StoneTree. You're going to need a specific strategy for that micro market, not a general one for the town. If you have questions about Novato's neighborhoods and micro markets and which might fit your lifestyle, your family, or your commute, reach out. I'm Kyle Frazier with Imagine Marin, brokered by Compass. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.